Hello, I am on my way to my 20-week scan with my husband.
I'm here as well, on our way to the 20-week scan.
Anyway, okay, I am finally going to be doing the vlog that I've been speaking about, which is answering all the questions. I have so many questions written on my phone that people have written in from like Instagram, YouTube, whatever, and I am finally going to answer them. But I thought I'd start this vlog off with snippets, maybe if we're allowed, of my 20-week scan. So we are actually going to find out the sex, but not find out the sex, if that makes sense. So we're going to get it given to us in an envelope, and then we're going to be doing a baby reveal with our friends and fam some stage. There's a cyclone on its way, so might be postponed, but we'll wait and see. So I'll take you along for that ride, and then afterwards I will finally be answering all your questions, so stay tuned. Hello everybody, it is Monday morning. I got up at my usual time of 4:30, got ready, had a shower and everything, went downstairs to do some quiet time with my husband. So that's where we just read our Bible and pray and stuff like that. But I thought I just didn't make my bed. Ignore the mess of my bed. But I just thought that I would jump on here because this week's a really exciting week. So I thought I might vlog some of it because, as you guys seen, I just had my scan last week, which was actually almost a week ago. We're meant to have a baby reveal. Okay, so we had my scan on Tuesday. I was meant to have my baby reveal on the Friday, and it was already going to be hard enough to not look at the envelope right. But then we had like cyclone warnings. It was like fear the cyclone was going to come, and I ended up having to postpone the baby reveal until tomorrow, so Tuesday, which means I had to wait a whole week of having the envelope and not looking in it. So hard. So I obviously wanted to be able to vlog that. So stay tuned because that's going to be on this vlog. But also one of my best friends from Canada, Tess, she's actually coming into the sunny coast. She's in Australia for a little while and she's coming to the sunny coast tonight. So I'm going to pick her up from the airport. So I just thought I would vlog picking her up and then also vlog the reveal tomorrow, and also answering, in the meantime, I'm going to be answering all the questions that I have from you all, because I have so many questions that people want to know answers to, like about my pregnancy journey and things like that, and I haven't done it yet. I don't know why I'm zoomed in so close, but like, enjoy my face. Literally coming up next, I'm going to be answering your questions today. That is my job. But for now, I need to clean my room, tidy it up, make my bed, and then I'm going to go for a walk. It's a bit stormy outside, a bit rainy, a bit gross, but I'm going to put a raincoat on and walk my doggy. I was going to try and get into Pilates at 6 o'clock, but it's all booked out, so I have to wait. I booked in for 9 a.m, so I'll just walk first and then have breakfast with my babe and then go to Pilates. Hello, I've just been making my baby reveal cake and I'm so excited, you have no idea. But I wanted to get a start on my questions. I've literally been talking about this for like the last 2 months, and I apologize to everyone who's been waiting to have their questions answered for that long, because that is a very long time to wait. And if you're anything like me, you're probably not very patient. Here we go. This is a weird kind of vlog for me because usually I'm like walking around or whatever. To be honest, I probably would be going for a walk right now, but it's like torrential raining outside. That's a bit of an exaggeration. It's not that bad, but it's pretty bad. Like sunny coast is flooding a fair bit right now. Like some of the photos that are coming up on Facebook, I'm like, whoa, but my house is safe. Praise God. Thank you, Lord. I've had some questions. I've kind of decided what I wanted to talk about first. These are the questions. I'm just kind of gonna say a few of the questions that are kind of related to each other, and then I will do a big answer of like all those questions. Hopefully I'll answer them all properly. But again, if you have more questions after I explain the answers, write them in the comments below, because I can answer them further if you need any more details. Here's some of the questions, like in the first category. Have you always wanted to be a mum? How long were you trying before you conceived? How many kids would you like to have? And are you scared having babies later in life? Because I am 33. So obviously whoever asked that question knows my age. But I act like a 20-year-old. So that kind of answers my question. Okay, let me start. So last year, I also had a few questions which I should have put in that category, was also about my like an update on my health issues that I was having last year, because if you guys were following me back then, you would know that I was actually like pretty sick for most of last year. And it's crazy to think, because I wasn't sick. Like I was still literally able to do everything. I was like busy all day, every day, had so much energy, full of life. But I don't know if this is going to be TMI, but you're on my page, so I can say it. I literally had, for non-stop about 8 months, I was having diarrhea for that amount of time. And a few months before that, so at the end of the year before, I went off the pill completely. I stupidly went back on the pill. Oh, okay, don't get me started about the pill. If you're on the pill, no judgments here. Everyone makes their own choice, but for some reason I made a choice that I just shouldn't have done. When Jordan and I got married, I was actually going to get the non-hormonal IUD, whatever that thing is. But I got a little bit scared because the lady said to me, have you had a baby before? Like when I booked in, she's like, and I'm like, no. And she's like, oh, well, just letting you know that this is actually really, really painful. So you probably want to be put to sleep. So you probably want to have the option where you're going to stay overnight and be put to sleep, or stay for most of the day and be put to sleep, so that we can insert it into. And I was like, I don't want to do that. She's like, well, it's probably going to be way too like invasive and painful for you. And I was like, what? Anyway, afterwards I ended up talking to lots of people, and they said, Ray, you would have been fine. So this lady scared me, so I didn't get it done. And so I was like, I'm getting married in a couple of weeks, what am I going to do? So I literally started on the pill, and I was on the pill for the first year of our marriage, and then I stopped, and I actually ended up not getting my period for a very long time. And I didn't get it for like a fair few months. And then at the beginning of last year, I got it, right? But then I didn't get it again for another 100 days. And then after that, I got it again. And I think it was like maybe 70 days later, I got it. So I was getting it like pretty much once every 2 to 3 months instead of once every month. And I started going to an acupuncturist, and they're amazing, by the way. Like, I'm not seeing her now because I really don't feel the need to right now. It is a bit expensive, but I think it was worth it at the time for me to get some answers, because even though she didn't really give me the answers, but like, I know that if I did have something wrong with my hormones, in the ways that she was like thinking it could be, like stress related and things like that, she would have been a huge help, I know for a fact. And she even recommended so many different good prenatal tablets and stuff like that for me as well. So I mean, it was not a waste of money, but I was seeing her every single week for months and months and months to try and get my cycle back, and then I thought, maybe this is why I have diarrhea. So I ended up having diarrhea for 8 months straight. And in that 8 months, my cycle was just messy. And part of me was a little bit worried. Part of me was thinking, wow, should I have started having kids a bit earlier? Like, is this me going into perimenopause? You just never know these things, especially when you start getting in your 30s. And in this day and age with all the toxins in our products, it's like probably pretty easy to develop like an early onset of perimenopause. And anyway, so I was trying to work out stress related things. I stopped cold plunging because my acupuncturist recommended me to. And I was seriously like, man, there's nothing else really stressful in my life. And cold plunging was not a stress for me, by the way, but the lady was like, oh, it might be. So I cut it out just for her to like see if that would help me get my cycle back. So what was happening was, I'm actually using a Natural Cycles app. So I have like a paid prescription for that. And I take my temperature every single morning. And so when you take your temp every morning, people that track their cycle may know that the day that you ovulate, your temperature rises and then it will fall back down again. And so that usually gives you an idea of when you've ovulated. And so that's how the app works out, red days and green days. And if you're not trying to have a baby, obviously the red days are when you could be ovulating around then. And then the green days are like, yeah, you're pretty safe. You can like have unprotected sex or whatever. My cycle, my app was actually showing that my body was trying to ovulate so much in that time. So in the 100-day block where I didn't have my period, my body was trying to ovulate each week. It was like trying, you could see. So I was analyzing the app with my acupuncturist, and we're like, my body's trying so hard. It just for some reason can't. And that's why we thought it might have been stress related. I was living with my husband's family at the time, and that was a little bit stressful for me just because there's so many people living in the one house. But then when we moved into our own home, like it still didn't get better. My cycle was still really weird. And then in that 8 months, I got shingles 3 times. Shingles. Like shingles is usually like for a really sick person or a really old person, not for someone like me who was feeling as healthy as ever. And I'm like, what is wrong with me? And my doctor was like, you just need to clean up your diet. I was like, do you know who I am? Do you know what I eat every day? Trust me, my diet is cleaned up. I honestly was like, right, my doctor's not doing any further tests. I've got to take this in my own hands. So I ended up researching reasons why you can get shingles so often. And the thing that kept coming up in the most articles was an autoimmune disease. And so I was like, I don't think I have an autoimmune disease, but I'm going to have a look through all of them and see if I have any of the symptoms. I literally crossed off every single one except celiac. That is the only one that I couldn't cross off because I was like, some of my side effects are related, could be celiac. And for those of you who don't know, my sister actually ended up passing away a couple of years ago, and she got really, really sick, and we didn't know why until she was in her coma, and then they worked out that she actually had celiac, undiagnosed celiac, for years. And so she was getting sicker and sicker and sicker over a few years, and none of us knew what was wrong with her, and she ended up having celiac. And so celiac can be hereditary, and I was like, man, maybe I could have celiac. So some of the symptoms that really lined up was low iron stores and having trouble to get them up. And I'm very good at taking my supplements, and my iron levels were still crap. So I was like, oh, that's tick. Another one was irregular cycle, tick. That's what was happening with me. Another one was not chronic, I don't know what the word is, but constant diarrhea, tick. Literally all these things were just ticking off. And the only thing that didn't really tick off to me was feeling sick after eating wheat or whatever. And I was like, I don't feel sick. But then I researched further into celiac, and there's a thing called silent celiac where I literally, you can just be eating wheat and stuff normally and then just have certain side effects that may not necessarily make you feel sick afterwards. And so it's a little bit harder to diagnose. So I went to the doctors, got the blood test done to see if I have the celiac gene, and I got positive for that. And then I got put on the waiting list to get a camera up my bottom. And in that time, I fully cut out gluten. And as soon as I cut out gluten, my diarrhea stopped. As soon as I cut out gluten, my cycle was 100% perfect. I was like, what? Anyway, okay, so here gets to my conception questions. So, praise God, I'm 99.999% sure I'm celiac, so I just haven't eaten gluten since, and my health is perfect. I can't complain about a single thing. Obviously, I was on the waiting list for the camera at the bottom, and I just got called just the other day saying, it's almost your time. And I was like, I'm pregnant, so I'm not going to be eating celiac. I'm not going to be getting any tests done. So I'm just taking it as, yes, I'm celiac. I'm just living that way, and it's been great. So don't come at me and say, you shouldn't cut it out unless you get a full-on diagnosis. I'm sorry, but that's not the season of my life right now to get something up my bottom and to start eating gluten again and feeling sick and putting my baby at jeopardy, because my whole small intestines would have been ruined. And so I've really focused on getting my probiotics and prebiotics back into me to get my health back to normal, and it was perfect. So last year, Jordan and I decided that we were going to have a preparation year to start getting prepared to have kids. And I just assumed that would be things like reading books and all that. But it ended up being, I think, the biggest preparation last year was getting my body ready to be able to conceive, because we hadn't ever tried. So we've now been married for coming up 3 years, and we've never tried to have kids before because we've always been like, oh yeah, maybe soon, maybe soon. Jordan and I have both always wanted to be parents, but it just was always a future thought, not yeah, let's do it now. I've always definitely wanted to be a mum. I just love the idea of being a mum. Jordan has prepared in his 20s. He was investing and doing all these things so that he could end up having supporting a wife and kids and being present in the home and allowing the mum space to be at home with the kids, so there was no pressure for earn income, all that kind of stuff. Jordan was fully preparing for this season that we're about to come into, which is so awesome. I feel very grateful that my husband was very wise in those ways, because it is going to make our life a lot easier. And also then I can spend more time with my kids, which is going to be so nice, because I'll obviously homeschool them and everything, which is cool. But I'll get into those details on another vlog. But I have always wanted to be a mum, but I just was always so scared. I was always just so scared of my life having to change. You hear so much negativity about becoming a mum and never having time for yourself, and I was just I'm too selfish for that. And so the idea of having kids scared me, but I really did want them. And so last year I was thinking, okay, like God, like help me get really excited to become a mum, and help me to be even excited about going through labor and everything. And then in April last year, my little niece was born, and I made it to the hospital in time to be there for her birth. And it was the most amazing experience of my life. I'm telling you right now, I've always been petrified of the thought of labor. Anything to do with labor, like my sister had, I think it was her oldest child. She got that full on like videoed and kept trying to show me. And I was like, if you ever want me to have kids, girl, do not show me that video. That's gross. That's disgusting. I can't. And this was the most beautiful experience ever. And so I just think it was the start of God really preparing me to be like, okay, you're ready to start trying to have kids soon. You're going to be a mum soon. That's going to be your new season soon. This is exciting. This is a beautiful experience. It's such a blessing. All these things. I absolutely loved being in the labor room for my little niece to be born. It was just seriously the best thing ever. And it's what now I'm so thankful for it, because it's made me so excited for labor. Like I am not actually scared at all. I'm sure I might get a little bit fearful. I think that's kind of a natural thing with hormones kicking in and stuff like that, like towards the end of my pregnancy. But right now I'm not scared at all. And that's saying something. Like that's saying that God was definitely preparing me last year. That's for sure. So I finally was like, I feel like, yeah, we're ready. I'll just like got to get my body working, because my body by then was still not really working very well. I think maybe August or so when I found out about the whole celiac thing. And so for the next few months, my cycle was perfect. Like it was 30 days or 31 days. It was so good and so consistent. I didn't have any other symptoms. And I said to Jordan, I'll be ovulating in a couple of weeks. Like, should we start trying this month? And it was so funny because Jordan's been wanting to try for a little while. He's been, I think, way more ready to start having kids before me. In that moment, he was like, oh, this is a big decision. And I'm like, I know it is. And so it's so funny because we kind of talked about it. We're like, I don't know. The conversation just ended with, like, we didn't make a decision. And then I ended up ovulating. I don't know why, but for some reason I thought on my app that I was going to ovulate on like, say, the Friday. And so I was like thinking like a couple of days before that, like I'm going to bring it up with Jordan again. Because like obviously we've either got to, I don't know, like use protection if you don't want to, or like avoid, I don't know, like what are we going to do? I ended up ovulating, I think like say on the Monday without even realizing. And so I said to Jordan, I was like, I think I ovulated yesterday. He's like, what does that mean? And I was like, well, if my body's working well and like it's God's timing, we'll probably be pregnant now, but I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, that was the month. So literally I feel so blessed that we didn't have to try for months and months and months. I like ended up testing a couple of days after my period was due and I got a positive result. And that's like the video. If you haven't seen it yet, you got to go see the video of me like telling Jordan that we're having a baby. It was just the most beautiful moment. Like that's another thing. I just knew that God was totally in it, because instead of being scared or doubtful, or instead of being like grieving a previous life now, like because everything was going to change, there was nothing but pure excitement and gratitude that God helped us conceive so quickly without like any effort really, and that my body was feeling healthy to be able to grow a baby. I had actually been on my prenatal vitamins since February that year, and then in October is when I conceived. So I'd been on them for like over 6 months, which they usually recommend to try and be on them for at least 3 months before you conceive, just to make sure that your levels are fully boosted. And so I really felt like my body was fully prepared. I'm like, there can't be any better timing than this. Like God's timing is so perfect. So yeah, I feel very, very blessed that we were able to conceive so easily. Like obviously, who knows what's going to happen with the next ones? Like you just never know, like pregnancy, conception, all that jazz. Like there's just so many things that come into it. And like if you're really struggling at the moment, just this topic is just so heartbreaking. I really do feel for you. And if you do want me to be praying personally for you, please let me know, because that's something I'm really passionate about and would definitely love to pray for you if you're finding yourself in a season of waiting and trying and in a season of disappointment and heartbreak and all that. Like please just let me know and I'll be praying for you. So did I answer all the questions that I had in that category? How many kids would we like to have? I had that in that category. So we're actually thinking of 5. I know people think we're crazy. So many people, when I've told them that, they will reply back with, oh, wait till you have one, you won't want to have more, or like wait till you have two, you definitely will stop there or whatever. But I don't know, part of me feels like I'm made to be a mum with lots of kids. Like I see it. I see our future of standing around the kitchen, them all having their little spots, like chopping and prepping veggies for dinner, and then sitting around a massive dining table for dinner and just saying thank you to the Lord for good food, and then enjoying good company and good food with so many kids. Like I can just see Jordan and I having so many. And so part of me actually wouldn't be surprised if we have more. Like obviously it's like you can never know how many you're going to have. As I said, like as the other question that I haven't fully answered yet, I'm 33 currently. I'm going to be 34 by the time I give birth to this baby in here. And so like obviously I have started a bit later in life, and like so who knows how long my body has still of producing eggs and, you know, like being able to conceive. You just never know these things, but I think I can see it happening. And like if it's God's will, I would love to probably even have more than that, to be honest. I don't know how Jordan thinks about that, because we've kind of decided on 5, but I can probably see us having more if time allows, and if it's God's will for us to have more. So I'm really, really excited to be a mum of just heaps of kids and just have them around home, just like helping out with things and teaching them really cool life lessons that, I don't know, I feel like a lot of kids don't get to learn and have life experience. Travel with them. It's just going to be amazing. So negative Nancy comments, maybe stay out of the way, because I don't want to hear it. Even if you think Raya's in her little bubble, you know, it's not going to be that glorious. Well, guess what? I know that every single season can be challenging, and I know that challenging seasons usually are the best and the most life-giving. You learn things, you grow, you change, you develop, you make mistakes, you learn more things. And I just love that about life. So I'm excited for this next season. And I'm actually not worried about me being like an older mum. I remember my sisters one time saying, you're going to be such an old mum, Raya. They're negative. You're negative if you're watching this, my sisters, but I love you guys so much. But yeah, I am not worried about it. I feel like my body definitely has a more youthful age to it. Like if my body could have an age, I feel like it's less than 33, if that makes sense. I feel like I'm still in my 20s. I feel fitter and stronger and healthier than ever. And yeah, ready to tackle this new season of motherhood. I'm not really worried. Obviously, as I said, like if my body stops being able to conceive and make kids, like that's going to be sad. But at the same time, I feel like Geordie and I are at a really good spot to go into this season. I feel like there's blessings of having kids young and having kids old. So I think there's positives and negatives in both. And I don't think one way is better than the other. But for us personally, I just feel like this is perfect timing. So I'm really, really excited. And yeah, I'm not worried about having kids so late. The one thing I am a little bit worried about is being like classed as high risk, because I'm going to be like an old mum. I don't know. There's proper words to it. But I'm like, how dare the hospital put me down as a high risk straight away? So I'm not right now. I'm 34. I think it may be 36. And maybe by the time I have my next baby, maybe that's when I'll be considered high risk. And I'm like, whatever. High risk. High risk who? High risk says who? Not me. Anyways, that ended up being a pretty long vlog, and I like to keep my vlogs not too long. So there is another half. There is probably another, that was 6 questions. There's probably another 6 questions that like I kind of fitted. I did get a fair few more questions, but I kind of squeezed them all into one. So maybe I'll do a part 2 of this vlog, and maybe I will answer the rest of the questions in the next vlog, which probably won't be for a couple of weeks, because I'm picking up one of my best friends. She's down in Australia from Canada, picking her up from the airport tonight, and then my baby reveals tomorrow. So I'm going to make sure that I put that on this vlog. So keep watching and you'll be able to see what my baby is. You'll be able to see our reaction of us finding out. And so I'll make sure I put this at the finisher of this vlog, and then next time I'll answer the other half of the questions. But I hope you enjoyed. Remember, if you have any more further questions, make sure you write them in the comments below. And yeah, I love you all. Love you all and God bless. Goodbye. Mwah. Alrighty, it's all set up for the big day. Is it gonna be a boy or a girl? Oh, and I've got my beautiful bestie Tessie here. Came all the way to Canada just to find out what the gender of my baby is. Yeah. She's the real MGP here. All right, blue or pink? Ah! I'm so scared. 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 This is the gist. Tilly, are you gonna have a baby brother and a baby sister? Hey, what are you gonna have? Hey. All right, so we've got fresh rolls all buttered up. We've got sausage, homemade sausage rolls is gonna be here. There's obviously some snacks. Then we've got, to put in the rolls, we've got some coleslaw made by the lovely Tessie Wessie and some silver side all ready to go. That's dinner sorted. Let's do it. Bring on the guests.
Let's get it.
Let's get the playlist pumping. We're about to do the reveal. All my special people wave. And all my special people here. Cute! Love it. I'm so scared. I'm so scared. Oh, I am Team Boy. Where's my little thing?
Whoever gets it wrong has to have a 5-minute ice plunge after this.
Whoever gets it wrong, you just say.
Yeah.
Is that your punishment?
Oh, that might be me.
I'm so scared. I don't want to do it.
Don't do it. Leave it till next week.
Hey, do you reckon? Wait, I made the chocolate pretty thick in some spots. Do you reckon it'll be strong enough?
Done. Everyone
Just go right in the middle.
I'm so nervous right now. I'm gonna
do
knock
I
this
start?
over because I'm gonna jump
Do
up
I
and down.
start it?
Yeah.
1.
Oh my gosh.
Smash really hard.
Oh wow.
Blue one.
Alright, who got it right? Sorry Tess, you were wrong. What did you guess? You got it right, buddy! You guessed a boy! Woo!
That was a girl.
Oh yeah! And I know they're gonna be mini Jordans. What the heck? And I feel like now there's one of each in the band.
Yeah.
Like, come on. I am so happy. I do feel sorry for Jordan because he was wrong. Dude over here. Like both these dudes here.
There's a very well-known statistic that the firstborn grandson looks a lot like the grandfather. So
Oh,
that's
there you go. There you go. It's gonna look like Kate's.
Let's just pray. Father, I want to thank you for your goodness, your greatness, your creativity, your plan for our lives. Where would we be without our Heavenly Father watching over us, smiling upon us and blessing us? Where would we be? So I want to thank you for Raya and Jordan and this new little life that you bring into the world. And we just pray that this little one would have a sensitivity towards spiritual things. Just pray, Lord, that he would know from a young age the wisdom of choosing good from evil, wrong from right, and that his personality and his character would be easily moulded. He would come easily into the kingdom of God, and he would love the Lord his God with all his heart, soul, mind and strength. We pray your blessing on his life and on Jordan and Raya as they bring this little one up in the fear and the admonition of the Lord. So we thank you for tonight. We thank you for your blessing, and we thank you for this food we can share together in celebration. Amen.
Amen.
Come
Dad.
up with a name.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be the hardest thing about it, boy.
I was like, we only picked the girl name.
Do you want the one? She had her yeah, but like that mum could have carried it.
The lid smashed.
And then she had
Everything was on the
Did she have one
I was so hungry, and it's the best lunch. I still feel like one.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So I was just so scared that I would just I'm like, now that I took that off, it's just like, I'll probably have a girl in there. Unless I wanted to be a boy mom. I could be like Tara.